So folks, welcome to this episode of The Rumble. I have a guest who's a filmmaker. I could call her a filmmaker. She's also a writer. Filmmaker would probably be the right word at this point, because that's the most interesting thing she's doing now. And that is Sindhu Rajasekaran. So welcome to the show, Sindhu.
Thank you.
All right, I know it's Ramanujan and he's Madras's own man, Chennai's own man. I don't think he'd ever known the word Chennai in his time.
No, it was called Madras back then, of course.
But he was Chennai Patnam, wasn't it always known as Chennai Patnam? I keep reading all this stuff. What is the real name?
I think, according to what I've read in history books, the place originally was called Chennapattinam. There was a place that the British bought.
Chennapattinam or Chennapattinam?
Chennapattinam,
yes. Okay.
I'm not sure about this though.
Nobody is quite sure about this.
And then the British obviously had the fort and they called it Madras, and then that's how it happened.
Yeah, and they say the British are unable to pronounce Indian complex words. I don't know what is complex.
Actually, my name is the root of that. I don't know if you know that. So earlier the Greeks, the Sindhu River. Yeah, so they couldn't say Sindhu, so they made it Indu. And then it became India. So
silly Greeks, that's probably where the Sir comes in.
Yeah, that's
Indu can be made into Sindhu. Yeah, I keep hearing about that. They made Trichinapalli into Trichy. And Tirunelveli into Tinnevelli.
Yeah.
I don't think you know that.
No, that I don't know.
Okay, Tinnevelli was the way they used to say it in the old days.
Tinnevelli.
Anyway, so because he was a Madras guy, our own man, mathematician in-house, but there's still an amazing lack of knowledge about him. And if there is anybody who knows about him, it's only people who read historicals.
Yes. So that is one of the reasons why we wanted to make this film. This is Campus Cinema's first film. And, we could have made any sort of film we wanted. We could have made any masala film. But the reason we chose to make Ramanujan is because we wanted to tell the story of a real Indian Tamil hero, And his life is not just based in India. It's an international life. He's an international hero.
Yeah, he crossed the 7 seas.
Yes, and in those times it wasn't allowed. So that's another thing about Ramanujan, because, they lose their caste.
He broke all those traditions.
Yes, and it wasn't easy for him because he was a God-fearing person as well, so it was a very difficult dilemma for him to sort of
step on board a ship and sail out.
And one more thing, he was a Kumbakonam man. People from Kumbakonam would get angry.
Kumbakonam is not even near the sea. It's inside.
They have a big river, the Kumbakonam.
Oh yeah, of course, the Kaveri is there.
Yeah, the Kaveri.
All right. So this movie, what was the reason for you to get inspired at all to make a biopic?
So when we started Campus Cinema, we wanted to make a film. So we went to the director. He had 4 scripts, and Ramanujan was one of them.
By the way, when going to the director means talking to a dad. He's the one who directed it.
Yes, he is my dad as well. But let me tell you, on the sets and as professional people, we are not daughter.
You're no father-daughter.
No. We fight a lot professionally. So.
Okay, so of course, he's a stickler. His previous films, he's been getting things absolutely dead on right. So he wouldn't have spared you either.
No, and we don't spare him either.
Okay, so was it a huge discussion in the family, or you just arrived at it?
We all have our own different, jobs, so we stick on to that. So I'm a producer. I co-wrote the English screenplay, so that I did, and the director. We just leave it to each other. We don't necessarily get into other people's spaces. Then it becomes very. It's become the riot.
But of course, you do need that somebody to call the shots.
Obviously, the director, I think, as a producer, and the other producers, we really facilitated everything for the director. But on the sets, it's his ship, so he's a captain. So that's how it happens.
So fundraising is obviously the first question everybody thinks about. You're not able to get money to make a masala film, which is almost assured of its returns these days. Those kind of flicks. And then, so how did you have the courage to go and do something like this?
I think this is something I like to quote Schiller, who wrote The Aesthetic Education of Man. He says that, if every human being has the potential to appreciate good aesthetics, if he's exposed to it. And I think that good films, if the gift given to the people, I think they will appreciate it. Not many are given to them, So I really trust the audiences to appreciate good cinema, to say if it's a real good story, if it's really made very well. I think they will appreciate it. We don't have the guts to give it to them. So we wanted to give them such a movie, and I think they will appreciate it.
So is it more difficult to make an intelligent movie as opposed to something which is as tough, I would say, to make a masala flick?
The creative people are all out there, you just need to find them. There are amazing directors, script writers, cinematographers, actors out there.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you make such a film, there are always somebody who's coming and telling you, why madam, why are you doing this? You could have made, some big masala film and all that. Yeah. But you have to obviously rise above that, and you need to focus and you need to believe in what you're doing.
But what does history tell you? These kind of movies do well in...
I think so,
in
yes. In India, I think Bollywood's doing, making very good films at the moment, as in very different sort of films.
They're kind of recreating history in a more contemporary manner.
I think Baag Milkha Baag did really well recently.
Yes.
It's a biography, it's a historical movie.
True.
Lagan did really well. It was again a very different movie for its time. So similarly, I think, and the Tamil audience also have a history of appreciating very good movies, you know, if it comes out. So I think the director's previous movies are examples of that. Bharati, Peri are very different movies, but people appreciated it. So I think this movie, especially given that we have such a different thing in this movie, like for example the British actors, we have 50 British actors acting in the film, and in the Tamil version of the film they all learned Tamil and spoke in Tamil.
Oh.
So that's how we made it. Because
of course, that crazy English Tamil.
It
better really be, otherwise they won't sound like the real
No, what
Englishman.
we've done is the Britishers spoke in Tamil, then we have got local dubbing artists to dub it in Tamil, but the lip movements will be perfectly Tamil because they actually learned it to speak in the movies, because we knew that people don't like reading subtitles much. So that's the reason.
Though subtitling seems to be taking off, like just your friend Rex was talking about it, how she'd like to subtitle every single movie on.
That is very necessary though, because in our movie we're making it in Tamil and English, so we don't necessarily need a subtitle for the Tamil version.
What do you need for the Telugu people?
Yeah,
you need it for the Bengalis.
Yes, you do. But I think all movies should be subtitled because people from India is such a regional. I would say so many regions in this country that everybody needs to understand each other. I think subtitling is a real. I prefer that any day to dubbing. So just
Yeah. That's true. So what is interesting about this whole project is that half done in the UK, half done here, and about a man who's all from here, who spent just a little bit of time in UK, maybe not so little, I think 5 years in the UK, but it's a fascinating experience. You'll find out from her when you come back. So this whole experience is shooting like half there, half here.
Yes.
Was it any more difficult than shooting in any two locations on Earth, or is it something special to shooting in UK and here?
I think given that Ramanujan actually lived in the UK and here, that was a very emotional thing for a lot of people on the set, because the actors felt very moved when they actually acted in the same place.
This is exact spot where he actually did what I'm doing now.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So we shot in Ramanujan's actual house in Kumbakonam. Shastra University owns it now. They gave us permission. So
how do they own a house like this?
It's a museum now. So they bought it over, renovated it, kept it.
So all these Agraharam type things?
Yes. Now it's not an Agraharam anymore.
Yeah,
really,
but that's the style of the old house.
It's a very small house. So we had some 50 people crammed in that tiny little house shooting. But it was what I'm trying to get at is, so it was a very good experience shooting in the actual location. So that's why shooting in England and India, it's not just about shooting like New Zealand, we go to a song sequence or something.
You just have a mountain in the backdrop.
Yeah, it means something because Ramanujan actually lived.
Don't people recreate all the stuff in tricky situations, or is it that makes the budget go crazy?
We could recreate it, but again, as I said, we wanted to shoot at the actual authentic location, so we didn't recreate as much as.
I mean, you could do a little bit of cheating, same place and then.
Like we had, for example, to recreate a war. It was during World War I, so when Ramanujan was there, so we had to recreate the World War camps. So we did that in the UK. Okay. So that is recreated.
You mean tents and stuff and soldiers walking up and down
and
Florence Nightingale
doctors and bombs and all that. Yeah, we have a short scene like that.
What was he doing in that?
Ramanujan was there when the war was going on at Cambridge, and Cambridge became a war camp. So they had nurses,
the university
doctors.
Allowed
yes, so they had, and so he would walk past all that every day to go to his room, and it was a very difficult time for him because he couldn't find vegetarian food. He was a very particular person about his food. So that
this university, I mean not this college where you shot, were those people out there aware of Ramanujan as much?
Yes, actually very surprising to tell you, but more people in Cambridge and the UK knew about Ramanujan than in India. So we would be shooting somewhere in Cambridge and somebody would walk up to us and ask us, what are you doing? A Bollywood film? You're like, no, but it's a biopic about Ramanujan. They get so excited because they know who Ramanujan is. They know his story. So people know.
And they know it happened right there where they're standing. So
they preserve all those things, like Ramanujan's room, the places where he was at. It's all preserved, and they have a like a thing set up over there saying like a plaque set up there saying Ramanujan was here doing this or whatever. So history is so important in the UK. They preserve everything.
Oh yes.
And in India, that was a difficulty that we faced. Even though we shot at the actual locations, now you have wires hanging and everything, all the modern things there.
Yeah, that's
true. So we had to obviously camouflage.
So what is the attitude of people in India, particularly in Madras, because this film was shot here, to history? Do they regret that they ever tore down all those things, or they just say that's progress?
They say exactly what you say. I think they say it's progress. We don't have that tendency to keep these old things beautiful and preserve them. We don't understand the concept of preservation. I feel you want to, if there's an old building, you let it rot further so that you can tell people that's an old building. You don't want to keep it, preserve it, so that doesn't happen. But luckily for us, Port Trust had a lot of beautiful buildings which they have preserved where we shot, because Ramanujan was there. And in Madras, Nalli Chettiar sir, he gave us a house in Nungambakam, which is one of those old Madras houses where we shot again. That was well preserved.
Okay.
So there are some connoisseurs in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, who do
sort of waking up to all this.
Yes.
Are this intact, or there's some bodies like that out here, no, which are preserving some of these older buildings?
I don't know, but nice to know.
Yeah, there are some people I know. There's a certain well-known man who's been writing books. I think he writes every day or every week in the Hindu.
That's nice.
Covering
but there is something going on in Chennai, I think, where they're preserving.
There is a little revival
a heritage
of sorts.
Walk or something.
Yes, there's one walk happening where they walk around the Mylapore area. And
that's nice to know. It's really required. It's happening in Bombay as well. They have this heritage walk, and in Bombay it's a huge thing going on with preserving all these old buildings.
So who do you think will actually come out and see this movie? Is it the youngsters? Is it the middle-aged people? Or is it just nostalgia for the old folks?
I would say all, because obviously the nostalgia for the old folks, we don't have to tell them please come watch it. They already want to watch it. As far as the youngsters are concerned, I think we really made this film to inspire the youth, because Ramanujan died at a very young age. He died at 32, 33 years.
Yeah.
So, and in that time, for him to achieve what he has done, it was not easy, because society did not recognize him ever. He was always pushed out. He was kicked out of college.
But of course, history says he was a poor student.
He by choice, because if he wanted
he hated to study English and history and all that.
Exactly.
Just give me a slate and slate pencil and I'll do my maths.
Exactly.
Yeah, which nobody understood.
Yeah, nobody understood. So he would fail in those other subjects because he wanted to fail. He didn't want to study them.
Are you a math student?
No, I studied engineering, but you could call.
Okay, so did any of his work make sense to you?
We didn't study much of his work, and that's another thing.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Nobody studies.
So who knows anything about his?
Yeah,
we talk about Archimedes did this and somebody else did that, and but we don't know about.
The problem with Ramanujan's math is that it's pure mathematics.
Yes.
So you don't have direct applications.
Yeah.
So you can only
not
mention
applied maths. It's
So only the actual real mathematician understand the greatness of his work. But I think recently we were telling a lot of people, they didn't know about this. Ramanujan's number theory, which led to cryptology, which cryptology led to ATM passwords and all those things, which we use on an everyday basis, but we don't know it came from Ramanujan.
Kumbhakonam, for heaven's sake,
yes.
Not from some strange place in Greece or something. Came from Kumbhakonam.
Exactly.
Have you been able to push this story of Ramanujan, not the movie of course, but the entire thing about making the movie and all that to the local audiences? I mean, do our people? How has your marketing been so far?
It's been very good. We've done obviously all the normal campaigns which movies do, and we've done other campaigns as well. So we've gone to schools, colleges, and the youth.
You should get Kamal to come up and explain one of those simplest theories, just in case Kamal is not so great in maths. Because sometimes you need a celeb to come and push these things into
I could say that yes, but even in our movie, we have in every scene, if you see like Suhasini Maniratnam, we have Sarath Babu, we have Radha Ravi. Every scene you have some Tamil celebrity acting in every scene, because they all wanted to be part of this retelling of Ramanujan's life. Like such a great Tamil hero, they wanted to be a part of it. So they're all there. Okay. So apart from that, yes, a lot of other celebrities have also been very kind to us. I think over the next couple of weeks, I think
we should be seeing more and more of it.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, if you didn't know, she's also a writer in her own rights. She's written books. She speaks on public forums, I think. So we'll find that out when we come back in the last segment. I used to hear something about Kumbhakonam. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
It's known as a city of people who do fraudulent things. There's some Kumbhakonam take on that. Have you ever come across that?
Not really.
But have you ever heard that
No.
they always refer to it like they do crooked things out there?
Actually, what I do know, I don't know about that. But what I do know is that they say that if you commit any sin, you can. This is in the Vedas. You can commit any sin, you go to Kasi. But you commit any sin in Kasi, you come to Kumbhakonam. Then it will go away.
This is the ultimate liberation.
Yeah.
Right. So tell me, your writing career, how did that take off, and what exactly interested you in?
I've always written. As a child, I wrote poems. First, that's how I started off. But then one of my uncles said, "Don't write poems too small. You write like a novel or a short story." Then I started writing short stories and novels.
So did you just string together your poems to make it larger, or you went into prose?
Prose. I went into prose, but I did my undergraduation in engineering. So when I was in the engineering college, I'd sit under the desk and sort of write.
Oh,
so that's
where
how
did you do your engineering?
In Anna University.
Okay.
Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering.
Oh, the one on the outskirts, on the way to Sri Perambudur.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So I did that, but I love reading, So I read a lot throughout my life. I still do read a lot. So then I wrote, and once I finished college, I had a novel ready, manuscript, so that I sent it out to a lot of publishers, and luckily Frog Books.
So did you go through the typical thing that most writers go through, having sent out and receiving rejection slips from,
of course you do,
from zillions of publishing houses?
I think mine was the fifth, which was positive. The fifth letter I sent out was positive.
Okay.
So that was good. But yes, it's a very tough world out there, because literary world is this.
Why is it tough? I've never been able to figure out. I mean, singers put out their albums every day, sing songs, same blasted ragas over and over again. But a book which is well written, so much of interest and documentation gone into it, it just finds itself so hard to
because also I think the literary world has also become sort of commercialized now, where you have people ask you what demographic are you writing for, it's not about how good is your literary work. Some people just ask you what's a demographic, teenage, adults, what is it?
Very targeted writing.
Yeah. When you go to such publishers, you don't want to publish with them anyway, so I get very demoralized, I don't want to go with them. But luckily for me, my first publisher, Sunil Pulani, he from Bombay. They have a publication.
What's the company called?
Frog Books. Now they're called Lead Start Publishing, but earlier they were called Frog Books. Okay. So they published my book, and it was longlisted for the Vodafone Crossword Book Award, so that was good. Okay. So that was my first book.
So what kind of numbers go out in India today when in English? You wrote in English, obviously.
Yes, of course. Okay.
So what is the kind of numbers that publishing houses say can be launched?
You mean how many books are published at their first go? I think they start with around 5,000 or 7,000 odd, and then they based on how it goes. And now my book is in second edition, so that's good.
All right, so that's a great thing to say. My first print ran out. Yeah. What was it about?
It was about 5 generations of a Tamil family, and how their fate is linked to the contradictions of India and all those sort of things. So it starts in 1890 and goes all the way up to 2004. But it's basically about the idiosyncrasies of society. How.
But again, based somewhat autobiographically inspired.
I wouldn't say so, but yes, I would take a lot of characters from
your own life.
Yes, and make them different, of course. But yeah, it is it was a difficult book to write as well for me, because I started when I was 17 and finished when I was 22. But my style has changed a lot since then.
Okay. And you must have added a whole bunch of new characters as you went along.
Yes.
Or did you have them all right there?
No. I'm not that sort of a person who has everything in the head before I write. I start writing and then people just come along.
So did you write longhand?
No, I type.
You type.
Yeah, so I type.
But which is I always marveled at those people in those days who wrote longhand.
Yeah.
Writing longhand is one thing, and then the editor to correct that, and then you rewrite. I mean, who?
I can't imagine how they did it back then.
I'd rather not be an editor. Or not get a job if that's the way it is. But that's the way it was done in the old days.
Yes.
Hand corrected.
I can't imagine. I mean, but there is a certain romantic element to writing. I still love to write with a felt pen on a nice old paper. Okay. But a novel you can't really write on paper. You need to edit it.
And you lose the sheet in between, or you lose the order. It'll be like hell. That's I always wondered how Dickens did that. How the Dickens did he write all those reams of paper?
But I still do write poems on paper. I think that magic still exists because it's shorter. I can edit it.
I suppose you can go sit anywhere you like without this crackling
Even laptop
noise.
is okay. I have a MacBook Air, so I sit anywhere I want. But poems have that romantic element to it when you have
so
paper.
This is a story of South Indians, or is
yes, this is a story of South Indians. That's about the first book. It's called Kaleidoscopic Reflections.
Okay.
So it's about how everybody seem a particular way, but like the kaleidoscope, when you sort of shift it, everything changes.
Radically changes.
Yeah, and then it all comes back to the same thing.
Does it ever come back to the same thing?
I believe in cyclic patterns of life.
Maybe that's a romantic view of it. I don't think they ever come back.
Not really, but situations do converge, I believe.
Okay, another thing I always wanted to ask writers was, your editor.
Yes.
Many of them write wonderful things about them in the flyleaf in the front. To my editor, dear so-and-so, without whose help I would have never, blah, blah, blah. But how important are they? Or is it you feel that they're tampering with your work?
No, I think they are important, because what happens a lot of times is when you get so self-obsessed with your work, you sort of let it fly sometimes, you just go on your own things, but you don't realize that a reader who's reading it might not
There's more of a disciplinarian, just get you back.
Yes, little bit. But luckily the editors I've had have been very good to me, as in they've not
So how does it work? You send a script copy and then they edit and send it back to you, or you finish
you
it
can
and
do
you
it
start?
either way, because for me it's usually been my publishers who've gotten editors to do it before publishing. I've not sent it to an editor first and then done it that way. But I do let my friends read it, my writer friends.
Yeah.
So
you allow them to read it.
Yes, and they suggest some things, because we're writers. We don't see it with different eyes, we do that.
But is it gradually, or you keep sending it out, getting an opinion, bring it back and keep going, or do you write it all and then send it out to people?
It depends upon character. Each person is different, but in my case I like to finish the whole thing and then send it out, because again I don't want to give space for anybody to suggest anything, so I want to finish
it's done,
it. Yeah, it's done. So you want to give any on the whole, by the way, ideas, it's good, but I don't want them to tamper too much inside of my work,
or change his name, change his character, change
but luckily
sexes.
Nobody has done that to me till now. They've been.
So did you have to do all this when you wrote the script for the movie?
I assisted in writing the script for the English movie, me and another British person.
So did you use one of these computer systems?
Yes, yeah. We had the final draft thing for the script, yes.
And it makes things marvelously simple?
Very easy, because you just sort of, you put everything in the script and then you can go to any page, any dialogue you want just by all those commands, so using those commands. So
and then it automatically collates all the things, parts for this actor, parts for that actor.
It's magic.
Yeah, I've heard about it, that it just pulls out all the script for any one character.
Yeah.
You can just hand over his parts.
Yes.
So did you do readings, as they say in the West? They sit there and they read the whole script through, and did you rehearse them?
Yes, we did rehearse the script with our actors, of course, and we did my script editor. We had a script editor also who looked into the script, and because we have British actors as well, British characters.
Did they contribute anything to the story? I mean, in any manner?
Who are you talking about?
The British actors?
No, they're very professional. They would never suggest anything. You give them a script, they would do exactly what's on the paper. They would not question, they would not,
That's not the Indian way.
No. Here you would have people giving you
Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I think I love working with both.
So let's get to the actual movie. Now that you come to the end of the shoot,
yes.
Your edit's over, all the work is over as far as we can see.
Pretty much, yes.
Now just send it out to the theatres.
All ready to release. Yes.
So it's a cube print, I presume.
Yes.
Or you shot in film?
We shot in film, but everything gets converted.
Why did you shoot in film? With everybody doing digital these days.
You can do 4K processing with scanning with 35mm.
Oh, that you can. Yes, of course.
Yes. So and we wanted that excellent quality, because we actually took the pain of shooting in such beautiful places. We wanted the people to be able to see that, so we shot.
And there is still that final difference between whatever you say
even
about
actors
digital.
feel when they hear the sound of the film rolling.
Yeah, they keep
love
saying
acting.
that. Yeah,
so it's a very good.
Rolling means rolling.
Actually rolling.
That's true. So what is the actual marketing efforts that you are involved in trying to get this out to?
We are doing we're going through the usual routes, as in TV, radio, newspapers and all those.
How's satellite television treated you?
Quite good, actually. I think because it's not any other movie. This is about a Tamil hero. It's about Ramanujan. So people have been very supportive. They've been
But normally when they acquire the rights for a movie, then the rest of the channels tend to shun it. Has that happened yet?
No, not to this movie, and hopefully not, because I think, again, as I said, it's about a Tamil hero. It's a real Tamil heroes movie.
So everybody is okay with showing it.
Yes, and then they should be. They must be, and they are. So.
But have you actually given it out to all the 50 channels there are in Tamil? Will you actually
many channels have been very supportive so far. They've had a lot of shows about our film, and I think over the next couple of weeks you'll be seeing.
There are a lot of party-based channels who are all supportive of Tamil nationalistic causes or promote Tamil heroes and all. So have they all responded well to it?
I think they should all, in their own way, everybody is proud of Ramanujan because he's a Tamil hero, and if to their own politics also it's all Tamil based, and they're talking about Tamil heroes. So I think this is going to be something they would promote.
Have you people done anything on it? Because this is not your usual slap bang punch up kind of movie. So even the smaller channels, I think you should.
Recently we had a press conference with the Tamil press on 14th of June, and we did talk to all the journalists. We told them.
Did you get any intelligent questions from the audience or from the media?
I think so. They've been asking the director some very good questions, and with the producers, it becomes the usual. Why did you make, a movie about?
No, because
Ramanujan?
the whole star quality thing is.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I'm missing. There
There
are
is
some
definitely
well-known faces.
Yeah, I think even Abhinay, who's the lead actor, he is Gemini Ganesan and Savitri's grandson. So he's a star in his.
Is this his first venture?
He's, I think, done some movies in Telugu. This is his first Tamil venture. But he's done an absolutely... I don't think any star would have done such a beautiful job, because you need that dedication. You need to be a very good actor to really go into...
So did he match your concept of what Ramanujan must have looked like?
The director says his eyes were the same as Ramanujan and his nose. So I think that was the reason he was chosen. But I'm telling you, he spent 6-8 months we were shooting. So he lived as Ramanujan. He had to shave his hair every day. That is physical thing that he had to do every day. And to play such a person, you have so much expectation, so much pressure. Do you think
the pirates are going to leap on it and slaughter it, because they do that to every movie?
No,
have you ever thought about all those things?
Yes,
because
of course.
It's a huge movie. You don't want to be.
No, but now I think now the internet is quite good that way, because you can take anything down if it does happen. So you have a lot of rights and privacy in the internet.
For a couple of days they'll block it, but you keep popping up in all sorts of.
After the movie releases, months later, that's different. But during this period, we have a whole team set up to just monitor.
Because there are some companies who are now engaged in doing just that, take down all these
so we have employed some of them, so I think that way we are safe.
And is it ever going to be available on DVD?
In the future, yes.
You have plans? Because half our movie goers don't get to see them because they don't go out to theatres, because the women are uncomfortable.
I think that is the thing about this movie, that the tagline of our movie is "Come Celebrate the Genius," and we are calling you to the theatres to come. This is a movie that actually deserves to be seen in a theatre. You go to watch so many other, I wouldn't say nonsensical, but whatever movies, but this is something that you need to come see in the theatres, and people have been responding very well to that. If you look in the internet, you can see so many people saying that, I don't usually go to the theatres to watch movies, but I'm coming to watch this movie because this is a hero, this is a Tamil Indian hero, and I will go to the theatre. And people are saying that, and people say first day, first show, and internet is full of support for us, and internet that way is a very beautiful forum where we can see immediate response.
It gives you support. That's true. So now it's been 6 months since you started shooting, or a year since you started shooting?
I think we started shooting in summer last year. So then it got over by the end of last year, and then we've been doing post-production. So
almost looking forward to the end with a certain amount of relief?
Relief and relief.
Trepidation too?
Not trepidation. I'm quite excited and expectant of happy things. So let's see. So it's
lovely having you over.
Yes, you too.
And I really hope that you go knock the socks off everybody.
Thank you so much.
Great filmmaking.
Thank you so much for having me, and it was wonderful talking to you.